Many things can be said about Appalachia, but if there's one thing that is true, our foods and our culture are definitely tied to each other. Appalachia was populated by many different cultures, including Native Americans, Europeans, and African Americans. Have you ever thought about why you eat the foods that you do? Do they have a cultural reference? Do they have a historical reference within your family? Did your ancestors bring a certain recipe over from the old world, or was it something that they created out of necessity? As you think about these foods that you ate when you were younger or even today, was there a way that they were prepared? Were they prepared maybe something was sliced or instead of diced? Maybe something was slivered or maybe something was chunked? Was there a particular utensil or tool that was used that could give you clues on what your heritage is and what your ancestors used? As well as think about how foods were cooked. Sometimes they were fried, sometimes they were boiled. Maybe they were over a campfire. Foods have historical references. Food is a fascinating lens through which we can explore our history, our culture, our societal changes. In thinking about bread, almost every culture around the world eats bread, but almost every culture has different ways of preparing it or different ways of using it in their meals. Let's take two examples, one being pasta, the other one being tea. Let's take it from their origins, and then I will show you how it transforms throughout the world and how it ends up in Appalachia. Let's think about pasta. Often associated with Italian cuisine, but pasta has its origins in ancient China. In Appalachia, buttered noodles is a comfort food. Almost every Appalachian knows that buttered egg noodles when you're sick is the best cure. Our other example is tea. Cultivation of tea leaves began in ancient China and mostly for medicinal purposes, but now it's become a global beverage. When I think of tea, oddly enough, I think of high tea, maybe in Ireland or England, but in Appalachia, sweet tea is always at the dinner table. Those are just two examples of foods with historical significance that is so vast. Our historical references are often clues on our own ancestors and where they settled or even who their neighbors were. If you were in southern Appalachia, chances are you probably ate cornbread where corn was more prevalent and grown. If you were from northern Appalachia, chances are you had biscuits where flour was more prevalent. Also, the way that you ate these types of foods and the way they were prepared or the spices that were included were heavily influenced by the cultures that came with these ancestors, but also their neighbors. If you were Scottish living next to a German family, then your cultures ended up mixing and you're creating a new food culture. The next time that you prepare a dish, stop and think about the ingredients you're using. How are you preparing it? How are you cooking the meal? How does this relate to your heritage? Now think about some of your favorite foods. I love pizza. I can eat pizza every day of the week. Is that tied to my heritage? No, I have absolutely zero Italian DNA. But what it is tied to is part of the area that I grew up that had a large contingent of Italian immigrants. So, what truly satisfies your cravings? Is it something that you grew up with and inherited from your heritage, from your ancestors? Or is it something that you grew up with because of the culture in your neighborhood? And yes, Appalachia is known for its moonshine. Moonshine is a fascinating, complex topic with a rich history that's entwined with Appalachia and the development of Appalachia. It's a significant part of American history as well. It represents a blend of a want and desire, along with rebellion and cultural identity, which Appalachia has taken on. But Appalachia is so much more than moonshine. It is an enduring legacy of our Appalachian culture and our cuisine that is tied together, that lies in such a deep connection to our region's history, to the many immigrants who came and settled the hills, the mountains, the hollers of Appalachia. It is also the enduring legacy of changing with the times and adapting where needed for different ingredients, different neighbors, different cultures coming into Appalachia. I think you'll find that Appalachian food really is a blending of global cultures and foods. I hope I made you a little hungry, a little curious, and ready to dive into what is Appalachian food cultures, the history, and the heritage. But first, let's figure out and learn where Appalachia truly is.
Although Appalachia lacks definite physiographical or topographical boundaries, with the area being defined in 1965 based on economic need versus cultural parameters, it is generally accepted that there are 5 regions: northern, north-central, central, south-central, and southern. The region is not the same as the mountain range. These are 2 different topics. Appalachia is a 205,000 square mile region that follows the spine of the Appalachian Mountains from southern New York to northern Mississippi. It includes all of West Virginia and parts of 12 other states: Alabama, Georgia, Kentucky, Maryland, Mississippi, New York, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia. About 23.6 million people live in the 423 counties of the Appalachian region, with 42% considered rural. The 6 physiographic provinces that in whole or in part are commonly treated as components of Appalachia are Appalachian Plateau, Allegheny Mountains, Ridge and Valley Appalachians, Great Appalachian Valley, Blue Ridge Mountains, and Piedmont. Welcome to Appalachia.